Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to Shifting Lanes. My name is Hanson. Thanks for tuning into this video. And for this one, I'm sitting in the 2021 Toyota Prius 2020 edition. And I want to share with you my likes and dislikes about this hybrid car from Toyota so that you have a better idea before you buy. And make sure you stick around all the way till the end to hear my overall recommendations. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe and notification bell button so that you could be notified anytime we make a new video. So this one is called the 2020 edition, which means two things. Yes, it's very confusing to call a 2021 model year the 2020 edition. And two, there's only 2,020 units of these special editions made. This trim is built to celebrate the more than 1.9 million Priuses sold in the United States since it debuted in 2000. The hybrid was a pretty wild idea back then, and now 21 years later, they've become as mainstream as any gasoline engine car. Now Toyota has a total of 11 models that have this technology or some elements of it. And we've actually tested a bunch of those, so if you're interested in seeing them, please click on the links down below. Now other car manufacturers have also followed suit, making the hybrid market a pretty big one. So while the Prius may have been the pioneer in this business, is this still the best one to get? Let's find out. Now this 2020 edition is based off the XLE trim in front-wheel drive, which is a mid-grade Prius clocking in around $31,300 with delivery. And that comes with some nice convenience and comfort features like heated seats, heated steering wheel, wireless charger, rain-sensing wipers, and auto-dimming mirrors. But on top of that, you'll also get some special visual upgrades. So you'll find some black wheels, which upon closer inspection is part aluminum and part plastic inserts. I guess this is to make the wheel look beefier than it is, but keeping it lightweight. You'll also get some blacked out headlights, blacked out badges, color keyed spoiler, and these custom 2020 floor mats. All of these special little bits try to make the Prius more racy and aggressive looking, which will make you say, yeah, nice try, because this Prius is anything but racy. This thing has been purpose-built from the ground up to chew through as many miles with as little gas possible. And that's really the best part of this Prius. The mileage returns is one of the best in the hybrid industry, with 54 city, 50 highway, and about 52 combined. With an 11.3 gallon tank, you can technically drive over 600 miles. Now the internal combustion engine part of the hybrid is a 1.8 liter four-cylinder producing 96 horsepower and 105 pound-feet of torque. Standalone, it's really nothing to write home about. But combined with the electric motor, the net system horsepower goes up to 121 horsepower, which is still not that impressive. But what I like about this hybrid performance is that the torque comes on more immediately. So this engine will actually feel a lot larger than it actually is. So while the horsepower figures don't sound too impressive, take it for a test drive, because this thing will feel a lot like another economy sedan or a small crossover. A fast car this is not, so you'll have to be a bit more patient when you're accelerating or when you're going up a big hill. As for transmission, the Prius has an eCVT, just like all the other hybrids in Toyota's lineup. This isn't a normal CVT that you'd find in other cars like Nissans and Subarus, which have belts and pulleys. This is the heart of Toyota's hybrid system, and it's essentially a planetary gear set, which they call a power split device. And that is attached to two motor generators, one which is in line with the engine and acts as a starter, and the other one is in line with the front axle, which drives the front wheels. This is how Toyota has been able to seamlessly switch between just engine power or just battery power or some combination of the two. As for the interior of the Prius, you'll find the same grade of materials that you'll find in other Toyotas. Functional, but not too fancy. There's a lot of plastic bits in here, and the spacey layout certainly does it no favors to look more upscale. The seats in here, however, does look pretty fancy. This is the Softex interior, which is a synthetic leather. It looks nicer than cloth seats and is a lot easier to maintain than leather. This center digital instrument cluster has been a Prius signature ever since its inception. So if you're a previous Prius owner, you're going to feel right at home here. But for everyone else who's just now joining the Prius party, this is going to feel a little awkward and not very traditional. This will take some time getting used to because all of these displays is just slightly off center. The speedometer is conveniently placed somewhat near the center of the vehicle just for all of the passengers to see. So for all of those backseat drivers and jumpy moms and dads, they'll be thankful that they can see that very easily. The same goes for all of your efficiency metrics and drive mode information, gear information, and safety systems. It's somewhat poorly placed and it's just slightly out of the driver's sightlines. I have yet to find any good reason as to why the display has to be in the center of the vehicle. If you know of one, please let me know in the comments below. As for the infotainment system, this is the 7-inch screen version, which is completely sufficient for a car of this size. I was able to hook up Apple CarPlay on this display and it worked very nicely. Android Auto is also available on the screen as well as Amazon Alexa. If you go with a more upscale trim like the Limited, you can get a larger 11.6-inch portrait-oriented screen. But keep in mind that Android Auto isn't available in that screen yet. Moving on down, you'll find the HVAC controls, which is a single zone climate control, and that's totally fine for a small cabin of this size, but your rear passengers may not like it so much because there are no vents behind the armrest. And moving further down, you'll find this tiny gear shifter. This isn't like your traditional PRNDL automatic gear shifters that you can find in other cars. If you want to put yourself into park, you could press this P button, but for everything else, you have to toggle this little shifter. Now you'll find the letter B on here instead of an L. It works the same way. It's your low gear, so putting yourself into B essentially tells the system to have more regenerative braking so that when you're going downhill, you're back driving the motor so that it can store more energy in the battery so that it can be used for another time. If you're going downhill, you want to take advantage of this because you want to harvest some of that potential energy. If you're not doing that, that means that you're putting more energy into the form of friction by using your brake pads, and that's just going to wear out your brakes even more quickly. One super annoying thing about this Prius transmission is that when you put yourself in reverse, it emits a nasty beeping sound like when a truck is backing up. Perhaps it's a necessary safety feature, but it's really annoying to hear it every time you back up. Now, this has been a Prius thing for forever, and there is a method to defeat this feature in the 4th generation Prius, but it's not something straightforward that you can do within the menu system. And speaking of safety, new for 2021 is the Toyota Safety Sense 2.0. So that means pre-collision system, dynamic radar cruise control, lane departure alert, automatic high beams, and some extra features like bicyclist detection and road sign assist. And you'll hear those safety systems complain because if you get too close to something, you will hear something like this. I brought this Prius to New York City recently, and when this thing was at a crosswalk, every pedestrian that walked by and was within a foot of this thing triggered that audible warning. As for driving experience, the Prius will handle just fine for commutes and road trips. The ride quality isn't bad at all, but can feel a bit harsh over bumps. Straight line acceleration isn't great, you knew this. 0 to 60 is around 10 seconds. And braking performance can feel inconsistent considering the regenerative braking and the physical use of brake pads. Now, if you're using this for long trips, the cargo capacity is pretty decent with its hatchback design. 27.4 cubic feet behind the rear seats, and with the back seats folded down, you'll get up to 50.7 cubic feet of space. So overall, do I recommend the Prius? If you're looking for a reliable commuter car with great mileage rating, the Prius is a really fantastic choice. The addition of safety features make this an even better commuter. It's not a fast car, but this has really been built with the focus of getting as many miles out of a single gallon of gas as you can. Toyota also has the Corolla Hybrid, which I've reviewed before, and it's another fantastic choice if you want to stick with the Toyota lineup. The only downside with that Corolla is that it only comes in one trim, and it can feel very limited. The Hyundai Ioniq currently has the highest MPG rating, so you should also consider that if you're thinking about buying a hybrid car. But overall, the Prius, 21 years later, this is the most refined and safest yet. And it's no longer boring looking either, but it's certainly an acquired taste. Well, there you have it. That's my review of the 2021 Toyota Prius 2020 edition. If you've learned something, please consider hitting that like, subscribe, and notification bell button so that you can be notified anytime we make a new video. I'll wrap it up right there. My name is Hanson. This has been the 2021 Toyota Prius, and I will see you next time.